Hi, good evening, gentlemen, and welcome to your Hoppers Hangout. You both well?
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
Happy days. Who have we got with us tonight? So we've got the third 15 captain, Cory Wallace, and then one of, I think, joint captains. Is that right, Shaddy?
Yeah, me and Luke Jackson, yeah.
And Cory was telling me before that Andy Perman has stood up again and taken the fifth 15 on again for this season.
Yeah, I think we'll have to drag him away from that kicking and screaming.
He does seem to enjoy the role, doesn't he? Got a good side going as well.
Yeah, getting there.
A few of those old first boys coming out and helping out makes a hell of a difference as well.
Absolutely, it underpins everybody else. I think he does a great job, Andy, and he's good. He's good value around the club as well, isn't he, on a Saturday? So yeah, good to have him around. So Shaddy, I'm surprised you managed to get on because you've just come straight off a fitness session, Zoom bubble, something or other, haven't you?
Yeah, I've been doing 3 a week with Marcus Harris, who plays for the fours and thirds. So I pay him for the privilege of punishing me 3 times a week, which is rather good fun.
And what have you been doing tonight then?
It was basically a pyramid down, so 10, 9, 8, 7, all down to 1 of exercise. You have to do 10 of the exercise, then 10 again, then 10, 9, then 10, 9, 8, 10, 9, 7, all the way through. So it consisted of tonight squat jumps, shoulder taps, press ups, split squats, crunches, man makers, burpees, long jumps, then 2 minutes of wall sits, and then a minute of plank to finish.
Sounds like Olympic decathlon.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Are you involved in this as well, Cory? Are you?
I'm not that stupid, no. I get involved in the Saturday ones, but not midweek. Can't commit to the midweek ones. But the Saturday ones are pretty brutal as well, to be fair. We've got one tomorrow morning with Marcus at his house, and it's I've seen some of his equipment he's got at home that he's stashed there, and I'm really not looking forward to it.
Well, I am, because I'm not doing it, so I look forward to catching up with you about how that's gone. I'll tell you what's been hugely impressive, though, this summer. I've noticed through the Facebook pages from our senior players, there's a real sense that they've got the bit between the teeth, having had such a successful year last year, thirds, fourths and fifths. They've come into this summer saying, you know what, let's get really fit and let's get as good as we can, haven't they? There's an awful lot going on. Yeah,
definitely. We did a bit of work. I set up a thing on Strava. I don't know if you know, it's just an app you can download free. And we did a whole lot of cycling over about a 5-week period. I think it was probably about 30 of us, Shaddy, off and on. I created a few groups, or we created some groups, and just sort of had a bit of a friendly competition, but it all worked out on cycling. So a lot of guild wheel was done. I think I got to about 5 or 6 in 1 week. So it was fun, but I think we got to almost 10,000 K in the 5 weeks between the 30 of us. So yeah, it was good.
It's incredible, isn't it? And do you think, and is that just literally on the back of how successful we were as a senior club last year? Or do you think that there's a lot, or do you think you guys having to drive this as captains, how does it work?
Well, from my point of view, I don't think it was much driving involved. The idea was just put out there. A few guys was already involved in doing their own stuff on Strava, and I've noticed quite a lot of lads were joining it. So it was just a sort of a few boys getting together, obviously separately, but we could do it with not having to be as a group like you normally would on a training session. So it made it a little bit easier with lockdown. I was off for 5 weeks with work, so a few of the boys were, so it worked out really well. But everyone jumped on board. Shaddy would probably say the exact same thing, but the boys really enjoyed a bit of competition while we were in lockdown. We missed the end of the season, which was a shame, but it was a bit of competitive, a bit of competition between the boys, and pushed each other along. It was quite good.
Yeah, good. A lot of us realised that last season, although we had a good season, the teams that beat us weren't any better than us, skill set wise or strength. We had them in that bracket. They were just the last 20 minutes of games, half an hour, they were killing us because they were some second teams you're playing against. They're training with their ones. They're a lot fitter than us. So, and a lot of lads have bought into it. Like me, I'm 48 I'll be 49 going into this season, and trying to run around with a load of 20-odd-year-olds again. So that's the reason I'm doing 5 or 6 sessions a week, just to try and get in some sort of shape. So.
And do you feel in good shape, Shaddy?
I feel a lot fitter, but it's not helping me with weight. I'm actually going up in weight. I was hoping to lose weight. I'm up to 21.5 stone now. It's killing me.
That'll be the cake, Jason. The man loved the cake. You can't just keep eating cakes, pal. You've got to be careful. I'll tell you what I wanted to touch on, because you're new to the 4th 15 captaincy. Mick Mortimer's done that role for quite a while, and I think he's been moved on to the social director role, hasn't he, I think?
Yeah, he's our representative on the committee, for trying to get our points across to the club. He's still going to help me out. Like I said, he's still got a lot of information, a lot of team contacts that he had player-wise. The reason I've done this is Luke Jackson really wants to do it as a young lad. He wants to captain the fours, but he didn't feel confident enough to jump in and do it from the off. So I said I'd help him out and guide him for a year or so, and then he can take the reins quite happily, because I think by then I'll be due to be hanging my boots up. I don't think there's many seasons left in the old body. So,
well, you're the new dad. I don't see you hanging your boots up at all. You've been running around as long as I've been involved in the club. A long time. There's been a lot of talk, hasn't there, around the senior sides, and I think they're as important to the club as the first 15, whether that be the men's or the women's. That the senior sides, 3rd, 4th and 5ths, are actually what it's all about, the community side of the club, providing an outlet for people to play rugby on a weekend. How many guys, Cory, do you think that we've got that are willing and able to pull boots on a Saturday?
I think we grew a lot this last season just gone. I think we had 30 new players into the senior section.
Wow.
Had either come back as ex-juniors or were new to the club, guys moving into the area, different things. So we built quite well. But I think in total there's about, off the top of my head, not including your regular 15 guys like Andy, that set core guys, there's probably about 110 players that lace the boots up this season. Like, not every week. A lot of those guys, we do have a core that play every week, but we do have a lot of guys coming in and out each week, depending on availability, work, but it's roughly about 110. So we'd like to grow on that a bit more if we can as well this season.
It's superb, isn't it? I don't see any other club in and around our area with that level of engagement from players. In a sport that's diminishing player numbers, we seem to be bucking the trend, and I think we're rightly proud of that. For a long time, we had a 6th 15, and it was a source of great pride for everybody actually in the club. And sadly, we weren't able to fulfil enough playing spots for the 6th 15. Do you see that returning, Shaddy, over time? Is that the end goal, do you think?
I'd like it. We discussed this. Andy Perman's doing a great job there at 5th, but they've stepped up and do it basically a division now to where we were playing last year for the 4s, with the way the divisions have laid out.
Yeah.
And me and Cory were talking about, and a couple of other guys, that to me the future is you've got the old guys like Andy and them. They're going to be keeping going on for years. They want to keep playing. So to me, that's your basis. Like, say, if I carry on playing, like, to me, forming a good old 6th team down the line, and then forming a 5th team of lads who are basically, we want them to progress into the 3s and 4s, but they're not quite there yet. So it's an outlet for them to join the club, play some fixtures in the league setup, and possibly get the 6th team, just fulfilling like your friendly, for going into the friendly pool, trying to get fixtures as and when we've got enough players to fill those slots. But to get a group of younger lads pushing the 4th team along, so that the 4th team can push the 3rd team along.
Yeah, and I've spoken to Mark Murray, Gareth Dyer, Arnie through their Hoppers Hangouts, and actually that upward flow of players is effectively what makes you a strong setup, isn't it? If a 4th team player can put a fire under a 3rd team player, who can put that fire under the 2s. And Tino said something that really struck with me. He said, look, we don't want the 2nd team lads to just turn up for the shirt. We want them to want the first 15 shirt. And that doesn't happen unless you've got strong sides underpinning that 1st team squad. So, yeah, there's huge importance by the club placed on our senior sides. And I'm glad and pleased to have seen last year, player numbers increasing, more structure to training, it sounds like. And now, Shaddy, you almost sound like that we could potentially reinvigorate what was one of the great parts of Hopper's history, i.e. the strollers, as players move through the decades, that the 40s and the 50s. Can they still pick up some games on a Saturday and go on to play as Dad did, way into his, dare I say, I think 70s.
Yeah, I think he did. I think he had a turnout in his 70s, yeah. So, I mean, it's some going to try and up and keep playing that long, though, isn't it? So, especially in this day and age. But
so he put a shift in today. He was painting the cellar today with the other volunteers. Still going strong as the president, which is obviously good to see. What's the hopes then, Cory, for this season coming? Obviously, we've no date yet for a return, but what are you hoping to attain for the third 15? What does success look like?
We discussed it. I sort of have a couple of lads that helped me out this year with a bit of a senior leadership group for the threes that have made life a lot easier for myself. And we sort of sat and discussed this during the off season, as you can call it, off season, I guess. And we sort of said, a couple of them said, we should be aiming top 4. But I think for us going up this year, we can work on our fitness, which we are doing, a bit more stability on numbers for the threes of regular guys playing every week will help. Yeah. I think there's no reason first round we shouldn't be aiming for at least top 6 and then pushing on for second round. There's no reason we can't finish top 4. We've got the talent to. We've just got to have the right mentality and make sure we're doing the hard yards, getting down to training, making sure we're more available at weekends rather than trying to skive off when we can. I know that's not always the case, but there's no reason we can't. It's attitude. We can do it. We've got the team to do it. There's enough depth now between the sort of the 3s and 4s, and like I say, if there's guys coming down from the 2s each week when those numbers are there, then there's no reason we can't push these sides. Like I've played a couple of games for the 5th this year with a couple of the Leyland Warriors guys when they had no game and the 3s had no game. We all went down and helped the 5th out. And like I say, a nice bunch of lads, but I didn't rate, I wouldn't have said they were anything extremely above what we were playing this year for the 3s. So yeah, definitely top half of the table, hopefully top 4, but can't run too fast, can you? You've got to get it up. We'll get there.
It's good to have ambition, though, isn't it? And I think you're right. The consistency of players and the consistency of selection goes a long way, because what we've always found, I think, at Hoppers is that we unearth some real gems, some real good players down the years, Shaddy. You can think through the 4ths and 3rds that have gone on to, 1 or 2 have gone on to first team rugby. The one that stands out for me would be, one of the best players in the last 10 years would be Sandsy. Yeah. Richie Sands was an outstanding first 15 player and came right through the ranks at the club. So now and again we do unearth some talent, but I think the consistency of selection and training helps that, 'cause it helps the players develop. Shaddy, what does this season look like for you and Luke then? Is it just a handover season, or have you got lofty ambitions like that?
No. My intention, mate, is to push for top half the table. As far as I'm concerned, cup-wise, I want to surpass the last 2 seasons. We've managed to get to the semi-final. I want to push for a final slot this year. And as far as I'm concerned, I want to get at least. I've got a couple of lads who played for my squad last year. I don't know whether Cory will be taking them this year or not, but I tried pushing them to the 2s last year. I'll be still trying to push them along, and I want to see a few of my lads progressing into Cory's side and nailing down slots in his team. To me, that's what we should all be doing. Everyone should be pushing everyone forward. It's not a case of hanging on to your best players. It's a case of pushing them to where they should be playing. So,
and that sounds a brilliant way to end. One team, one club. And I think if we all work together, I think we can have and enjoy another successful year at Hoppers. Thank you very much, boys, for giving up some time this evening.